What's up, folks? My name's Dane and welcome to the Splash Guest House YouTube channel. Now, if you like Japan, the beach, or marine activities, you're in the right place. If you want to follow us, please smash that subscribe button. If you want to hear what's coming up in the future, click the notification bell. And if you have any questions for us, leave them in the comments below. With all that said, let's get into today's episode, which is all about this, which is Railblazer, an amazing company out of New Zealand and their wicked products. For people that already follow the channel, or for those that don't, I do an insane amount of water activities. I do things like surfing, stand-up paddleboarding, foiling, body surfing, diving, boating, you name it, I do it. And I often use one of these, that thing right there. That is called a GoPro or a sports action camera. Now, I've just got a GoPro 9, which is what I'm using to record this on, and it's actually the reason I got back into YouTube, because this thing is insane. And it's actually one of the biggest reasons why I hooked up with Railblazer, because I want to use all of their different ports and booms and poles and whatnot to mount my GoPro in a ton of different angles whilst I do those water sports. They also do a bunch of traditional stuff, which boating and kayaking and all those communities has already been using, and there's a ton of videos out there already about, but I'm going to actually focus on using their equipment to mount all my cameras in all these different water activities for you. So let's have a quick look at them, and hopefully today's video will get your sort of imagination flowing and your creative juices flowing, and you'll see the reason why I think the Railblazer port system is going to be epic for fantastic camera angles with those sports. Let's get into it. Right, so what is Railblazer and how am I going to use it? Now look, it is a starport mounting system for a ton of cool stuff. And there's two different types of ports, the mounts, that you're going to stick these to something, and then you're going to use all their other accessories to put into here to allow you to do different stuff. This one is their small one, the QuikPort. This one is their big one, the RAILBLAZER. I've busted a couple out of their packs so you can see. Now this is the QuikPort. Here it is. It comes with this stuff, 3M magic tape. You're going to stick that to there, and then you're going to stick that onto something. In a minute, I'm going to do that to one of my foil boards so I can go out wing foiling. But have a look at the starport system. Now look, right there, this is a star shape. And here, right here, check it out, that is their locking mechanism. You see that? Slides in and out, all right? Now, let me show you this. This is one of their gadgets that you can stick into that port. It just happens to be a camera mount, okay, for this thing right here. Look, an action camera, all right? But let's just focus on there. Now, if you imagine male and female, you know, one goes into the other. So that is a star shape. That is a star-shaped cavity, and that just quite simply fits into there, okay, like that. So, but look, comes out real easy. So that's where their lovely lock comes in. Click it down one time. That you can't get it out, okay? All right, and trust me, it is super strong. Never broken one of these. So we click that lock open, and look, quite simply comes out. Okay, so that's how it works, right? Okay, so remember, I'm going to stick this to something, then I'm going to use that to stick into there. Okay, now one of the cool products, you've just seen a ton of the products that they do. I'm going to try and do little videos on them all over the coming weeks and months. But one of the cool products they do that I'm going to use most is this thing here, which is called the Camera Boom 600. All right, now when I'm out on my surfboards and wing foil boards and SUPs and stuff, and I've got my action camera with me, I want to get that into these really cool, interesting, different places, which I can't currently do with the mounts that come with my action camera, which is why I've got this. Now look, this is their action camera boom. Okay, out of the bag. So now if you imagine we take my action camera, look, it comes with a standard tripod mount for my action camera, and allows me to twist that onto there. Okay, nice and simply. Right, now at this end, what we've got here is we've got this ability to twist the camera around 360 degrees. Then they've got another joint here, look, which allows me to bend that camera to any angle I want. They've got another joint here, a third joint, which then allows me to rotate my camera any way I want. So look, what this allows me to do is to put this camera into just any angle really quickly and simply, and then lock it down into that position. So if we go back to this end of the GoPro, of the boom, action camera boom, you'll see here that there's a knob that allows us to change the angle of the boom. So now if we find our port, imagine whoop, this is stuck onto my wing foil board as an example. What I can do is I can put that mount, that mount on my wing foil board, and then I can put this boom into this mount. See, like that? And so that's on my board, which I'm going to show you in a minute. Now that means I can then, with this angle, I can change the angle of the boom to whatever I want to get a cool angle. Okay, like this. And then at this end of the business, I can then rotate my camera if I want it facing up more, if I want it facing down more, if I want it facing it forward, if I want to maybe face it down and under the board. I can do all of that with this boom and this system, okay? Really, really easily. How good is that? If I suddenly want to take the camera out and hold the camera, I can just grab it. I can hold it like this, do a bit of a selfie with it, or do some vlogging, and then I can turn around and pop that back in the board, lock it down, and away we go. And it's all super secure. So that's one of the things that I'll be using the Railblazer port and systems for. What I'm going to do now, stop talking, is I'm just going to give you a quick demonstration with my NSP SUP foil, which I use for winging as well. I'm going to show you how I actually install it. All right, folks, so this is my NSP SUP foil board, and the goal here today is to take these two Railblazer starports, okay, the QuikPorts, fix one to the nose and then one to the tail. Okay, now the reason for that is because, remember, I've got this POV camera, this GoPro on the boom, and I want to be able to mount that on the front of my board like this. So it's like that in the mount, and then one at the back as well, so I can do shots from the rear like this. Okay, so this is I'm just going to show you what I'm doing. This is what I've got for it. I've got some scissors, marker, this is the tape for the ports like that, some alcohol wipes that come with it, a little scratchy pad, and tissues, scissors, hairdryer, alcohol spray, just to make sure everything's super clean. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to set the camera up, and you guys can just we'll do a time lapse of me actually doing one. All right, sweet. Okay, I'm going to try and install one of these QuikPorts to my foil SUP. Inside of all the Railblazer packaging, it comes with detailed instructions. I would advise everyone to try and read those thoroughly to make sure that you know what you're doing before you sort of try and get into that process. I've done that already, so I've got a little head start. Now, a few tips and tricks from me is, when I'm working out position of where to put this, I always try and take into account that this little lock and unlock button, and I try and put that on the side that I'm going to use it the most. So for me, I'm going to use that because I'm going to be on the board. I want it here on this side, not facing forward, because I'd have to kind of bend around the pole to access it. I'm then going to take a green magic marker, and I'm going to place it on the board where I think I'm going to, well, I know I'm going to have it, and I'm going to make a few marks. 1, 2, 3 and 4, and that will then allow me during the process to know where I want that to be stuck. It then says that what you want to do is you want to take this little piece of abrasive sort of foam and use that to clean the area where you're going to stick the port. Now it is kind of like a little sort of sandpaper or some one of those like scratchy things you have in the kitchen to take burnt food off. So I do advise you, if your board is already very clean, you won't need this, or if the surface you're sticking on is already very flat, you won't need it. But my board's a little bit old and dirty, so I'm just going to, in circular motions, clean the area. Now you'll see here that on that pad now, that's a little bit white, and that side's clean, and that's just the sort of dirt it's taken off. Comes with these little alcohol prep pads that you can then open these up and use those to wipe down the area. I've got some extra alcohol spray here, which I'm going to use, same stuff, and an old rag, and I'm just going to make sure and clean that area nicely with that first. There we go. And then I'm going to take this pad just one side, and I'm actually then going to use that and just wipe down the area that I know I'm going to use. Then the other side, I'm going to take my port and I'm just going to wipe down the port surface as well to make sure that that's absolutely clean as well. Now you're going to want to make sure that both these surfaces are then very dry before you try to stick it on. Obviously if you try to stick anything adhesive to a wet surface, it's not going to work. Then you're going to take the starport and the 3M tape that they've given you, and you're going to try to stick them together. So we're just going to make sure that's completely dry. I'm just going to actually use my hairdryer here and just to warm it up a little bit, dry it off a second, speed things up. There we go. Okay, so that's nice and bone dry. Try to avoid putting your oily fingers on it and things like that. So I'm then going to peel off one side of the 3M tape, quite simply, and take my starport and I'm going to place it centrally onto the pad. There we go. There we go, like that. Can you see? So I've made sure the port has tape on everything. Now I'm going to take my fingers, and on the back side I'm basically going to start massaging this tape, pushing this tape down from the center out, making sure I'm getting rid of all the air bubbles. Phew. Like that. Give it a good press down as well on that board. Fantastic. All right, there we go. Okay, now just remember, take your time doing this. There's absolutely no rush whatsoever. You're then going to take a pair of scissors, and I'm going to cut off the excess off the tape by going around the port nicely. It will stick to your scissors. And use the old tape bit to put it on. Just get rid of those. Here we go. Woohoo! Nice. Again, take your time. Keep it nice and pretty as we can. Oh. I'm no expert at this. I think I will be by the time I've done 4 or 5, but awesome. Right, almost there. Last bit. There we go. So there's our nice 3M tape on our port. Now the instructions also say around the edge of the port is the plastic like rim. Now if you look here, if I can show you, it's kind of a little bit bendy. Now that's to help with if the surface you're sticking on is maybe slightly concave or has a little sort of curvature into it, but you want to make sure that this edge before you stick it on is a little bit warmed up and so malleable. And what's his name? You do want to try and find a surface that is as flat as possible to stick these on, by the way. Flat and smooth rocks. They won't stick too well to perforated surfaces or bumpy surfaces. I think so. Anyway, I'm going to just take my hairdryer and I'm just going to warm up the edges of my mount. Not too much, just warm them up a little bit, just so they're nice. They become a little bit more malleable. A hairdryer is good for this, or a heat gun, but be careful, don't overheat it. So there we go, there's mine already done. My room's pretty warm where I'm sitting. Yeah, it's very malleable now, I can feel it. Now I'm gonna peel off the backing off of this, like so. And then I'm going to try and place it, remembering where I wanted my lock. And I'm going to place it on my board, like this. And I'm then going to press it down incredibly hard with my fingers. Okay? And I'm going to really just put this up here so you can see. And I'm really going to kind of push that port onto the surface, onto the place where I want it stuck. Okay? Awesome. There we go. Fantastic. Now, that, in principle, is that. They do say that you'll want to try and put maybe a heavy weight on top of it for 24 hours or for 12 hours or overnight. And in my opinion, I think anything with glues or tapes, it's best if you can leave it for 24 hours. I do think it is absolutely fine now if you really were going to go and use it, but it's probably not advisable if you want it to last a long time. But just for demonstration purposes, I'm going to show you now that's stuck on, how I can stick my boom pole in. So check it out, look. That goes straight into here like this. Make sure it's open. Drop that into there, and I can let go. And there's my my boom pole straight in there, ready to roll. And actually, I can really, force this. If I lock that up nice and tight, I can pretty much force that around and tell you right now that is not coming off at all. There's just no way that is coming okie dokie. So let's just unlock that this way. That comes out, and that's pretty much, whoop, you knocked my camera over. That's pretty much how I do an install. So I'm going to install the other one, and then I'll come back and do a wide out zoom and show you some of the positions I can get my GoPro boom in now for my wing foil. Stoked. All right, now I'd hoped to do this section outside for you. Unfortunately, a giant rainstorm's just blown up the coast, so we're stuck in the living room. I'm going to show you the board. It's all done. Come check it out. As I said before, this is the NSP foil board. So I use this for wing foiling, sup foiling, and even sometimes surf foiling. The mounts are on the board, and we've got the GoPro boom and the GoPro mounts up, and I'm just going to show you how easy and versatile this system is. So check it out. We just drop that straight into the front port, lock it down, check it out, bend that camera forward, and there we go. Imagine I was sup foiling on this. I've got a forward facing shot sort of around the sort of thigh height. There's somebody say, get that wave and I want to turn around, push it around the other way. I can turn the camera around 180 degrees, keep the angle the same, angle the camera back maybe a little bit, lock everything down, and I've got that beautiful shot looking back at me and all the scenery behind me. Fantastic stuff. I want to change the angle of the front shot and everything. I want to have a really low down looking up shot. Just lock the boom in that way, bring the camera up, lock everything in, and I've got a more sort of low down looking up kind of shot. Suddenly I want to spin everything around. On the next wave, I can bring everything in around, lock it all down with just the little push and pull locks on them. There we go, I've got this nice low looking shot and everything. Fantastic, right? If I suddenly just want to change the camera itself around, I can just twist the top part of the mount, go around facing backwards to the side. Obviously the GoPro mount itself will allow some manipulation. Here's a fun shot. I just want to bring the camera pole facing straight up like this. Bring the camera facing straight up. It's a dead facing forward shot. Spin the camera around, off we go. Again, I'm moving it all very quickly. There are locks on here that you can lock things in. Suddenly I just want to do a bit of a selfie. So I'm just going to lean forward in the water. I'm going to unlock the mount. I'm going to pick it out. There we go, I've got my selfie stick. Hey world, what's going on? I'm out here in Japan on the foil. Something like that, absolutely fantastic. Suddenly halfway through the session, I want to get some shots from the back looking forward. I can turn around and load this up into my starport in the rear, lock it in, move it to the angle, lock it down to the angle I want it to be at, set the camera, off we go. Of course, with the new GoPro 9, you don't even need to click the on and off button. You can actually talk to the camera, which is fantastic. They do also have a remote now. You can press that start and stop, so you don't need to be fiddling with the camera whilst you're riding. Maybe a fun shot I'll be trying out pretty soon is having that camera, that boom sort of almost straight with the board like this, and then just drop that camera angle round. So it's down like this. Hopefully you can see that. And so you can see that, so that will be facing underneath the board. So as I come up on foil, you can just see the mast of the board and the underside of the board. How cool would that be? That's pretty much it on my foil board. Also, you know, if you sort of had enough of your camera halfway through the session, you could just unlock it from there, shove it into your wetsuit. With the pole, you could then just, you know, collapse the pole down onto the side of your board like this and lock it down whilst you head back in, or move it just so it's flat out the back. There we go. So super versatile, amazing system from Railblazer. I've got to say I am stoked. Let's just pop that out, unlock this one. There we go. Got to grab my camera somehow. Oh, it's gone down. Woo! There it is. Lock that back in. So anyway guys, that's a look at my foil board setups. NSP by the way, epic. Alright, let's look at the surfboard. Bring it in. Alright, so folks, down here, got my pride and joy. This is my beautiful 7.6 NSP fat log. I love riding this. It allows me to get in and pull into those waves, into the barrel, everything. And I stuck a port onto it right there. The reason for that is because I want to take this GoPro boom, I want to unlock that system, I'm going to lock that down into there, set it up so it's perfectly set up. So when I take off, and I'm paddling in, I jump to my feet, I turn, I pull into the barrel, the wave's breaking over me here, that camera's capturing that perfect view of me riding in the barrel. Absolutely awesome. The fun ones when I'm just having fun outside in small waves, a fun angle to have it on is just permanently, you know, facing upwards, and just, you know, it's like, you know, waist high. It's just standing watching me surf. Really nice. Again, remember, like the SUP, you can just turn around and move this to any direction you want. if you want to have something where it's sort of facing back in the barrel. Might be a bit tough, this one, like getting in the way of what you're actually doing, but maybe just angling off to the side, left or right, depending on which style wave you're catching. But again, those views are kind of endless with it. But for me, this one, yeah, definitely is just capturing me surfing inside that barrel or just down the line. Absolutely love it. Again, want to do a bit of selfie or a bit of chat in the water, just grab the boom, pull it off, do your little hellos to everyone, everything, chuck it back on in the water, and away you go. Again, it's just super stuck on there. There's very little movement in this mount whatsoever, virtually nothing. The movement is actually just from the pole. You might think it will be banging around quite a lot. The GoPro has a beautiful hyper smooth system inside of it, which makes that footage just look buttery smooth. That's a look at my surfboard. I've got one more board I'm going to show you before the end of the video, and that's my SUP. It's too big to bring in here. Let's go and check it out in the other room. Okay, last thing, I bought my stand-up paddleboard inside. Don't tell the wife, she's going to kill me. But yeah, my 10-foot stand-up paddleboard, and there's the mount on the front. So you can turn around and just pop it in, just very simply like this. Imagine I was stand-up paddleboarding now on this board with my paddle. I've got my GoPro on the front, recording everything I'm doing. My beautiful journey, just cruising around in all the rocks. Again, you can turn around and just spin that boom around if you want to. You can manipulate it, turn it up and down, wherever you want to. Hopefully this video has been helpful for you. I've left a load of links in the description below. Amazon Japan, where you can get it here, the main railblazer.com website. Check them out. If you have any questions on anything you've seen today, leave them in the comments below and I'll try and answer it as quickly as humanly possible. That's it from me. I'm off for another surf. Cheerio!